Many grants, and that was nice, nice information and many grants, and especially, like it's demand to celebrate the for education, and congratulations to everybody, to past members too. The development of the district vision statement as per the request by Ms. Rosales. As has been discussed, there is an option of having a mission and a vision statement as per the Department of Education. The board has elected to construct a vision statement. Existing mission statement, the mission of the Culver School District is to provide an optimum educational experience for all students, creating a passion for learning and encouraging all students to perform to their highest academic potential while promoting self-expression, cooperation, and respect for others. This shall be accomplished by infusing the most current pedagogical practice and technology into the fabric of the classroom environment as our students master the New Jersey Core Curriculum Content Standards.
Now, while we don't require a motion or a second, I just want to know whether there is any discussion about this. Are we comfortable with the existing mission statement, or do we prefer? One of the things that we could do is to hand this off, as the committees will be developed tonight, to hand this off to our Community Relations Committee, and they can further discuss the mission statement and bring back their thoughts to the board.
Ms. Pelestis, if I may, but before, I just wanted to make a comment regarding the many grants.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. As we all noted, our students did a really exemplary job of thanking us in very creative ways, and certainly led by their teachers and administrators. So I just wanted to recognize the students' efforts, recognize the efforts of this board, the previous board and past boards, and of the teachers and administrators who are teaching that lesson of gratitude. And it's really I who am grateful to them for letting me serve.
Thank you. So is everyone in agreement that we will, at the current time, we have a mission statement, and as we move into the committee format of operating, if there is a need or a desire to change, that can certainly be discussed within committee. So I don't need a roll call vote or anything, I just want.
May I understand like this? So it's in the committee to discuss if, since the board has elected to construct a vision statement, to take that task on in that committee.
Yes.
And it may be more appropriate once they're in the committee, and please direct me there, see that we have a mission statement now, and it's nice to see it in writing. I'm curious to how do we develop a vision statement without, or with knowing, or do we already know the needs and what we have in our district, with our students, with our teachers, with our administrators. So something in regards to a survey, a climate study, or something like that that could guide us what our vision statement could be or should be. Is that something that you would also recommend to the committee to take on as part of the development?
Correct. So in other words, if the Community Relations Committee determines that this is something that in order for them to fulfill their objective to have a new mission statement, one of the things that they might like to do, or mission statement, one of the things that they might like to do is to have a survey, is to have an anonymous survey and find out what the community is thinking and that kind of thing. That's certainly something the committee can discuss and bring back to the full board. But I'm hoping that through the committee system, with there being 3 members on each committee, we'll have an opportunity for them to more fully explore what they need in order to bring back recommendations to the board.
If I may, Ms. Pelestis, how, and maybe this is a question better for Mr. Becker and Ms. Schoonmaker, how, if a climate study was, as Ms. Grisales mentioned, took place, or if one has already taken place, and maybe we can draw from that data, how would that work? Like, how long would that take? And I remember I asked last year about a climate study, but I don't remember what the response was. So maybe we should find out if one has been done recently that we could draw from.
Yes, we do climate studies all the time. Last year, there was a question about the 7-year climate study, which got confused with the 7-year facility plan. There were a lot of different terms being thrown about, and there was some confusion. I believe our schools did a climate survey of staff this fall. That's readily available. But I think you have to be very cautious in terms of exactly identifying what is the nature and purpose, what is your end goal of the vision statement. Right now, the state does not require a vision statement. It requires a mission and/or vision statement, and they use the terms interchangeably. I wasn't here for the meeting, but I understand the school boards does not use them interchangeably. But I think it might be a good thing to look at the vision statements from other districts and the mission statements. So before we look at reinventing what we have, we should probably look at what the other districts are doing. And we could certainly share the results of the climate survey with you that took place with the staff. They were anonymous. And we have done these climate surveys, I don't want to say frequently, but from time to time, just to get a feeling of what is the nature. I think it would be good also, perhaps student government, maybe have a conversation with the student government. How do you feel about the school? What do you think can change? And that way, instead of a survey, which people tend to check, you might consider coming in with the student government and having an actual conversation with them to hear for yourself exactly how the kids feel about the opportunities and what's here, what they think should be better. The conversations I've had with them, they've been very open to share their positive and their negative with me. And so I think if that would include the vision statement, you should, but perhaps decide why you want a vision statement. Do you know what it is? Do you know the difference between a vision and a mission? And what do we hope to gain out of it? Because we do want to be administratively efficient in terms of how much time we invest in something to make sure we know what the end product is going to be.
Ms. Pelestis, if I may? Yes. I have a statement and 2 questions, if I may. At the Charlene Peterson from the New Jersey School Boards Association gave us a training during which she presented best practices of school boards and highly effective school boards. And one of those best practices include having a vision statement, of course well thought out and with input from all members of the community. And after that meeting, I did request from Ms. Peterson some guidance on how to develop a vision statement, which she did provide, and I did forward on to you, Ms. Pelestis and Mr. Becker, as well as a list of vision statements from other districts, so that may guide the committee. That's my statement. And then the questions are from my orientation with the New Jersey School Boards Association last year. I don't know if new members received similar information this year. There was a recommendation for a particular climate study that would include the students, that would include the parents, that would include the teachers. And I wonder if what climate study was done this past fall, and if it would be efficient and beneficial to do this recommended climate study, or whether the climate studies that have been done thus far would be sufficient and beneficial.
The one we did this fall was the one recommended by school boards, so it would be the same.
I think Mr. Scornio as school board, as our school board representative to Morris County School Boards and NJSBA, they have climate studies available for different kinds of things that boards can take a look at, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So that perhaps Mr. Scornio can get us some additional information on that. Okay. All right. Buildings and grounds, I think.
Inclusion necklace. Did you think So,
We had a report of property damage, vandalism, and theft of school or personal property for the month of December 2017. 2 incidents at North Dover. 1 burglary, 1 damage to property.
Budget and finance. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolutions as listed?
So, second.
I have a question before we vote.
Yeah.
On January 16th, 2018, the district paid urgent care to $100 and $74. I was curious as to what those payments were for.
Sure, this is
Say
wonderful.
this is Mrs.
The
Jones'
$100 is for no, I'm just happy that I remembered. The $100 was for a teacher physical, and the $75 was for a bus driver physical.
And is it typical that we pay for physicals? for
Yes.
that?
Okay. So I have a motion, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Okay. Do we have a report from our Mine Hill representative?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. And as to old business, do I have, before we move on to committees, do I have a motion regarding the professional services as they appear in this resolution?
I move that we adopt the following professional services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay, same with the alternates. All right, I've taken everyone's, I think, concerns, those of you that emailed me and let me know what you are interested in serving on. I've tried to put together committees that will help us to work cohesively as a group. And there's a lot of committees. So I'd like to make the following point. Well, first, we should make a motion, or should I give the names out first?
I think you need to give the names first.
Yeah, that's,
Because otherwise,
the
motion is just,
doesn't mean anything.
there were your recommendations, the motion is just to approve it.
Okay, so as to New Jersey School Boards Association, I would like Mr. Scarnio as the delegate and Ms. Grisales as the alternate. Morris County School Boards Association, Mr. Scarnio as the delegate and Ms. Mullen as the alternate, and Mr. Scarnio as the legislative representative. The Educational Services Commission of Morris County, again, Mr. Scarnio as the delegate and Ms. Dodd as the alternate. I'm going to skip the School Play Advisory Council and move on to the Dover Town Liaison Committee. I would like to serve as the delegate to the Dover Town Liaison Committee with Ms. Phillips as a delegate and Ms. Mullen as a delegate. The same for the Mine Hill Representative Board of Education Liaison Committee. I would like to serve as delegate with Ms. Ruiz as a delegate, Ms. Dodd as a delegate, and Dr. Singer as an alternate. Now, that's just for those. So can I have a motion approving those?
So moved, and skipping for School Play Advisory Council?
Because I think that as we go through the rest of the committees, we'll see that those committees can handle whatever it was the School Play Advisory Council was doing. And if there is a question about that as I go through the other committees, we certainly can revisit that.
So the current motion is for the items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Correct. Give me 1 second. Did I have a motion? Second, Ms. Mullen. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Ruzio.
Yes.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Mrs. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen.
Yes.
Ms. Cuevas.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Rosario. Yes. Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Garner?
Yes.
Yes.
On to the other committees. I am not going to name, and I hope this is all right with the board, a chairperson to lead the committee. I think it is best if the committee gets together and determines who they would like to have as their chairperson. It gives you, I think, a little bit more flexibility, and you can determine among yourselves who you think is best to be the chairperson for the committee. As to the Budget and Finance Committee, I don't know whether I have it in the same order. Budget and Finance Committee, Dr. Sainer, Ms. Mullen, and Ms. Rosario. Buildings and Grounds and Rentals, Ms. Rosales, Ms. Phillips, and Mr. Scarnio. Community Relations, Ms. Ruiz, Ms. Phillips, and Ms. Rosario. Curriculum and Co-Curricular, Dr. Sainer, Ms. Mullen, and Ms. Dodd. Negotiations, Mr. Scarnio, Ms. Ruiz, and Ms. Phillips. Personnel, Ms. Mullen, Ms. Rosales, and Ms. Dodd. And I would like to add a last committee that I think is critically important, and that is a policy committee that I would like, because I believe that, I know we have a community relations / policy committee, but I would like there to be a separate policy committee so that we can be sure we keep up to date on things. And I also think that it's important for new board members to be on a policy committee. So that committee would be Ms. Ruiz, Dr. Sainer, and Ms. Rosales. I hope that I have addressed and placed you on committees where you can feel comfortable, and I hope I responded to those that I received emails from.
Ms.
If I may make a suggestion, before you have someone move the committee appointments, I would suggest that you amend the motion to be, to not only approve the names that you suggested, but also to approve the creation
Of the policy.
of a separate standing policy committee. And you might as well do it all in one vote.
Correct.
And Ms. Pelestis, if I may, along those lines with the amendment, might it make sense to amend community relations, period, that it's a community relations committee, and then separately a policy committee?
Yes.
What you just said.
Yeah.
May I?
So as a first, a motion. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
A second? And you have.
I do have, you mentioned about the school play advisory council. So
Yes.
what do we know, what was the role of the play advisory council, and which committee are we thinking it would be best served?
Well, I think that when we look at either, it can go into either place, certainly with community relations or co-curricular activities, because we have a curriculum and co-curricular activities, and it makes sense not, at least it made sense to me, not to separate out just the play, because we have co-curricular activities with, but I'm certainly open to any suggestions.
If I may, Ms. Pelestis, just reiterate the first part of Ms. Bisandis' question. What is the role? Maybe, I don't know if Ms. Schoonmaker or Mr. Becker might help us understand what the advisory council, school play advisory council's
And
role
who
was.
served on it last year?
Ms. Schauer and Ms. Laurie served on it. I think a little historical background may be helpful. The School Play Advisory Council is really made, it's not a board committee. It's really made of the fine and performing arts supervisor, the vocal people, the set people, the instrumental people, all the folks involved with the play. And what they do is they discuss the talent pool they have, the different options available, their ability to actually do it, and they actually go ahead and select and agree upon, it's a discussion, the plays or musicals that will be presented. So in terms of, it's not really a board committee, it's just a group that was actually set up. Now, by default, the board members traditionally on the committee, I'm talking tradition historically, would be in charge. They spent a lot of time doing not set design, lobby design. They would design all the lobby decorations and everything like that. So it was more of a group that was, got their hands dirty and was working with the kids and the people involved. But in terms of selecting the actual pieces, that actually comes down to the staff members involved, the vocal, instrumental, the director, the producer, all those people. So that's, I don't think there'd be necessarily any harm in not having that position anymore.
And I believe that board members can always, and I would encourage board members to always be involved in the activities that are going on in our schools, whether that's attending games, or it's helping out with musicals, or it's helping out with other activities that we have in the schools. I would encourage all of the board members to do that, and for that reason, I thought it best to
Just a word of caution, the ethics committee came down pretty hard on board members being involved in a lot of school activities.
Correct, and that's a really good point, Mr. Scarnio. If you are overly involved, for example, if you are directing staff members, so for the School Play Advisory Council, for example, if you're actually directing staff members in that role, the School Ethics Commission has held, you've stepped over the line of being a board member, and that could get you could run afoul of the School Ethics Commission. So thank you for bringing that up, because that's a good point.
Ms. Blestis, I'm sorry, I think I need clarification.
Okay.
So, is it that, A, the role of the School Play Advisory Council will now be taken on by the folks in the curriculum and co-curricular activities, or we are completely removing a School Play Advisory Council and period?
Completely removing it.
Okay,
And
so B, okay, thank you.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have an understanding of the school maker of what we're voting on? Okay.
Mr. Ruzzi.
Yes.
Ms. Dodds. Ms. Oliver.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn. Estes.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Rhodes.
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And now, board coverage at school events. I did not receive anything from any of the board members regarding what their desires were, except for, thank you very much, Mr. Rosario, because you did say that you wanted to continue in your role. Again, I would encourage board members to go to various school events throughout the school district, and perhaps not just the school that your child is in, but to, so what I'd like to do is, if we could please, on this one, board coverage at school events, if we can just postpone this until I receive some information from the board members as to which particular schools you might be interested in being the actual delegate to. I don't think that I need a motion to do that, because I'm just saying, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to postpone it, and then if you could all get back to me with the schools that you would like to kind of take on as the school that you would be representing as a board member, then we can take care of that at the next meeting.
Ms. Blessis, if I may. I failed to ask a question that relates to the committees, and I know that we've already had discussion and voted. Might I raise my question now or later under new business, or?
Why don't you raise it under new business?
Thank you.
Okay. We have, I need a motion for the meeting schedule. Do I need a motion? under new business?
No,
No,
just-
usually no, it's just an
Okay.
announcement.
It's already said.
Okay. And under new business, Ms. Ruiz.
Thank you, Ms. Plessis. And I apologize if I don't have the full understanding of our board functioning just yet. It is my understanding that we function as a committee of the whole.
Correct.
And I'd like to know if and when we will schedule for these committees to meet and elect their chair and go about the business of the committee, particularly the policy review committee. Is that something that we are doing on our own, contacting each other? Is that something we are deciding today as part of the committee of the whole when we will start these meetings, or some other process?
Well, one of the things that Mr. Becker and I discussed was the fact that we would like to discuss with the full board having the committee meetings, in other words, having one board meeting a month, and then having the committees meet another evening.
They're still sticking by this calendar that you gave us.
So in a sense,
basically.
yes,
Okay.
but this way, what would happen is, if the committees all meet on that other Tuesday night that we would normally be meeting, we could meet here at the school, the individuals could break off into committees. I know that some of you are serving on multiple committees, and I understand that that can have some wrinkles in it that we're going to need to work out. But this way, we have the administrative staff available to answer any questions that we might have. And each of the committees can meet, and I think that, I'm hoping that that will be more effective. So I think that at our next meeting,
February 16th,
which
February
is
6th.
which is February 6th.
That would
we
be just
can-
committees. Yeah.
February 6th, correct?
Yeah.
February 6th, we will meet as committees, and then we can determine who goes.
And then it's not open to the public.
And the committee meetings are not, because they are less than a quorum of the board, they are not open to the public.
Ms. Pelestis, if I may, do we, as a board, need to vote on a switch from committee of the whole to a board of committees?
I think that it would be, yes, I think that it would be prudent to do so, and I think that if we open the next meeting, we have two options. We can handle this under new business if you prefer, that we handle it this evening under new business. It is something that was not on the agenda for the community. Or alternatively, what we can do at our next meeting is to open to the public as a regular public meeting, and then break into the committee sessions. And at that regular public meeting, after we've had an opportunity to think about this, at that regular public meeting, we can formally adopt. It's really a combination system. It's not just we're moving, because we will be meeting as a committee of the whole. So it's, the School Boards Association has said, you can kind of do, yes, Mr. Rosario.